Alright, hello everyone, my name is Shep, welcome back to the Butcher Circus, and today we have yet another tournament best of 3. So this one is even shorter than the last, but here we go again, this time against Kaschey, still in the loser's bracket obviously, and I am playing against the Leper team with my Zetas stress team. So I basically looked at Kaschey's match history and saw that he had played like 3 best of 3s or something of the likes, and I saw that in every single one of those matches there was a Leper. Sometimes it was more of a DOT team, sometimes it was more damage, sometimes it was more stress, but there was always a Leper. So I thought, well, why don't I do myself a favor and bring a team that counters Leper, and that's exactly what I did. So I brought this classic stress team, just a blast from the past, very high protection, very good bellow spams, does terribly into flatulence, but I didn't feel like this would be a flatulent best of 3 because Kaschey always plays Leper, and you really don't want to pick flatulent into Leper unless you have like flatulent with Pit Fighter's helmet, Gauntlet of Absolution or something of the likes. So here's some things should be mentioned. So first things first, I went second, which was terrible because this team starts with the doggy in position 4 and the A-bomb in position 3, meaning that if you go second and your opponent pulls before you use the slam, you're gonna have a really rough time. Now thankfully for me, Kaschey didn't see it, immediately went for the battle ballad against my team that has practically no dodge, but I suppose they do have a Leper and a shield breaker. But, you know, I was basically free to just get my slam off and get my abomination to a good position. So here, what's basically happening is my opponent has decided, well, you know, that doggy has Crimson Hook, that doggy has Hound Seri, and they want to kill it. That is a very smart decision by them because that is a very strong doggy. And now, thankfully for me though, I have spent turns on belling, I have spent turns on using the Bulwark of Light from the Crusader, so I have decent protection, my opponent has damage debuffs, and it starts paying off immediately. I go for my own heal with the Lick Wounds, and I just stay alive. Here I have a bit of a decision. I can either like guard the doggy or move back with the Crusader. I can go for a stun on the enemy Crusader, I can go for these safe beta moves, or I could just say screw it and go for the Beast Pile and pray that I survive the death blow. Now I was listening to some industrial metal while I was actually playing these matches, so that might that might make more sense as to why I made this terrible decision. But thankfully I'm still able to heal myself here, and hopefully the Jester doesn't do enough damage. Yeah, he probably will. I didn't manage to apply the debuff on him in spite of the very good trinkets I have on my man-at-arms for it, but he's able to just go for the Dirk Snap here and do enough damage to bring me down to 0. Now, unfortunately, I do not go first the next round. I can't really guard here, obviously, because there's a Shield Breaker and there's a Jester with a Dirk Snap and a finisher, so I am very likely dead, but the match will kind of be decided on this Dirk Snap. If my opponent gets it, I die. If my opponent doesn't get it, then, you know, things are very, very good for me, because not only do I regen my way out of that store, I get another Hound Theory through, and I have to dedicate at least another 2 moves to getting rid of my doggies. So really just 4 action, like an entire Butcher Circus round was basically gifted to me on that 40% chance of surviving, so that was really, really good, because my doggy is now alive and I'm still doing a lot of stress. Keep in mind that I would still have a good time in this match even if my doggy died there, because this is a counter pick. I brought protection and I brought a lot of stress and a lot of damage debuffs. This is exactly what the Leper doesn't want to deal with, and my opponent doesn't have that much DOT. They have Captivate on the Shield Breaker, but Captivate is way less scary than Adder's Kiss. So here, they're just trying to be aggressive. I'm quite surprised that they went for the chop on my Crusader. When they did that, I basically realized, oh, what they're probably going for is just wanting to drop the finale on the doggy. But after seeing that, I didn't even try to prevent the finale on the doggy, because to drop finale on the doggy here is to basically just tell me that you want to lose the match, because I'll be down the character, sure, but you'll be down essentially more than a character in terms of stress, and then another half character in terms of the Jester just taking so much stress, and he'll probably die in like 2 turns anyway, to a Bellow and a Transformation Horror and all that. So I don't even bother with, you know, trying to prevent a Finale or whatever. Like, there's no point in doing that. If he drops Finale here, he still loses, so I'm better off just doing some serious damage to the Leper. I thought, well, I might go Rage, or I might go for the Slam, go for good, but I end up seeing that my Slam damage is so big already because of that Revenge debuff that, yeah, I'm free to just drop the Slam here. If I get the push, even better. If I don't get the push, whatever. He's still probably dropping to Death Door in the next round. So when I see that Paranoid, you see me do a little spin there with the mouse. That is basically game over, because if my opponent still had a Virtue chance there and they had a Stress Heal on their Crusader, you might be wondering, Shep, why didn't they use their Stress Heal earlier? The reason they didn't is because the Stress Heal from the Crusader only really works if the enemy stress team has slowed down to a point that like 33 stress healing is enough. But if I'm free to just drop my AoEs, that 33 stress heal, even if you're getting some decent value off of clearing horror, it's just not gonna do that much. You're better off killing some characters in your opponent's team. The way you want to use that is by having some kind of riposte on your team and another anti-stress move, like bolster, some decent dodge on your characters, and then when you can slow your opponent's aggression down by making them not go Houndsary or by making them do less stress, then you can go for that sort of play. So here we go into a match number 2, and this time I am bringing the Jester WD. So I basically thought, you know, I could bring Shep Stress. That's what I also wanted to do. I could bring Shep Stress, but my opponent's still probably going to bring Leper, so let's not do that. Thankfully I managed to go first here, and I will say this is kind of a difficult spot to be in, because that front line has a lot of stun resistance. 80 on the Leper, also a lot of move res, and 2 exotic snuffs basically. This is a counter to my Jester WD, but thankfully for me I'm able to immediately punish my opponent on the misplay. So I went for the battle bout because I managed to go first. What I immediately wanted to do was punish the Antiquarian for being in position 3, because, you know, you can't let an Antiquarian be in position 3, she's gonna get stunned by the Manacles. But she had so much dodge with the Black Diamond Mirror that she has, plus the extra 15 dodge, that I have to go for a battle ballad first if I don't want to, you know, just be a stinky poser and lose the match on the spot. So I go for the stun on her. Surprisingly, quite surprisingly, my opponent guards the Antiquarian. They could have just gone for the Duelist advance and the Antiquarian would have been perfectly fine. She's in position 4, and I have a team that doesn't reach position 4 with, you know, almost anything. It reaches position 4 with Sniper Shot and Finale, but that's obviously not enough to kill the Antiquarian, because my opponent can just drop take cover once, and then I kind of just have to wait like a maximum of almost 2 rounds so I can finally hit her again, and even then she still has a lot of resistances and all that. So I'm quite surprised as well that my opponent went for the Vendetta first instead of the Duelist advance, because it would have repositioned, would have given them the riposte, would have made it so I don't really have good targets for my Arbalest, but because they didn't do that, then I'm free to just, you know, I'm free to just go for 2 Sniper Shots and bring him to Death Star. And sure enough, things kind of slow down for me here, because I don't have reach to position 4. So even though he's at Death's Door, I can't do anything about it. And I'm basically just forced to go for a risky stun because I don't have any better moves. I could have tried to slam the... I could have tried to slam the Leper, shoot the Leper, instead of shooting again into the Highman. There were those ideas, but I thought, oh, if I bring the Highman down to 0, things are just going to be really, really happy-chappy for me here. And now I just go for kind of a crazy move. I go for the Transform Slam on the Leper because I don't have anything better to do. I can't go for stuns because they both have increasing stun resistances. I could go for a crazy rage, but I don't really have that much damage reach to position 2, so I don't think that is too wise of a move for me to do. You can see me just completely vibing to the music at this point. Thankfully, I got a massive damage roll, by the way, with my slam. It was half the health points, and I got a 30% chance of getting the knockback, which, you know, with the net, even if you have the exotic snuff, it's still gonna happen. So here, I just decide to go for the finale, and you might wonder, Shep, why? The reason I do this is because if you're already winning a match, there's no reason to try and win harder than you already are. If I get a kill on the Leper, which is my opponent's centerpiece, and I have a Highman which is practically dying, and my entire team is in okay condition. Like, I don't need to win any harder than that. I don't need to wait out the regen into a crit shot on my Abomination, into next turn they get a crit Solemnity. Like, I don't need to handle any of that. I can just drop the Finale, call it quits, skip the BS with the regen, which I don't even have Harvest to counter, by the way. Skipped all the BS of having to try to kill the Leper while the anti-grind spams Festering Vapors on me, with the Materia Passes, which would have destroyed my team, by the way. Skip all the regen of me having to deal with that dodge and all that stuff. So here I'm quite surprised my opponent actually goes for the Grape Shot. I was expecting them to go for another Duelist Advance to stay out of reach from my Arbalist, and to also refresh that turn of Riposte, because if they don't do that, now if they click, they lose their Riposte, and you know, they're also having 2 characters Death Star, so I am dazed on my Jester, so it's not the end of the world. I don't have a Bounty Hunter here to get the kills, but the best thing I can go for is just to remove a turn and to potentially get the Death Blow, and I get lucky and I get the Death Blow. This match was quite lucky. This entire best of 3 was quite lucky, I might say. I got a lot of lucky death blows, and already it is looking absolutely critical for Kaschey here. They decide to go for a Gar in the Highman because there's really not too much else they can do at this point. I will try to stun it, I will try to shoot it, I will try to Dirk Snap through it, but essentially there's no more healing, while I still have a self-sustainable character with the Abomination, and while I still have 2 healers in the form of the Arbalist and the Crusader. So it is really looking quite doomed for Kaschey. So they are dropping to 0 HP here, and I decide to drop the Flare just to get rid of the Dazes. These are extremely annoying in the Butcher Circus, and if you have a Jester and an Abomination, you're gonna have to be dealing with both of them. They keep dropping those Grape Shot blasts. Their game plan here is kind of just to make an Affliction, make me go self-oof, and then hopefully the lasting DOT from the Antiquarian. I think she dropped like 2 Festering Vapors. Hopefully that lasting DOT just managed to get the win for them. Now, unfortunately for me here, I get the Death Blow with a crit, which means that the Man-at-Arms is actually in a position to kill my Jester. They can go for the Retribution here, they have a lot of plus accuracy, but thankfully for me, there is no Justice in this round, and they don't get a 25 back. So here at this point, this is almost a guaranteed winning chance, but even when you're in a situation like this, and you're in a tournament and your opponent doesn't want to surrender, there's no reason for you to take risks. You just still do the best moves. You don't blindly spam attack moves. You heal your finisher characters, and you see what is the best way of killing the enemy character. And at the moment, they have a lot of prot and they have regen. I figure that my best way of killing them is probably going to be through Beast Smile, and also through just going for the odd sniper shot. So I'm going to put the Crusader on healing duty, put the Jester on passing duty, and just try to win that way, but Kaschey will drop the bolster of surrender, so that is the white flag of surrender. So we take another W. This is a very quick video as well, just like the last one. Oh look, I didn't play 2 Arbalist teams this time, I didn't play 2 stun teams, I played only 1. Once again, I'm playing with Crusader Abomination. I feel like if you look through the match record in the Discord server, every single match has had Crusader Abomination from my side, so if you're trying to counter me, bring Flagellant and bring Grave Robber. Those 2 kind of counter these 2, but let's have a look at the bracket. Alright, and when it comes to the brackets, here we are in the losers bracket. We are now having won 2 best of 3s, and we will fight the loser of 53, which will either be Chosen Undead or Tiberium or Mr. D. So I will be looking forward to playing against Mr. D. I'm quite confident he'll be able to make it to the top 12. We already have most of the top 12ers. So Silac has already won 3 best of 3s. I could be in the same spot he is in, but unfortunately I lost against Dwarves. Dwarves, I have been avenged, and Duelist has taken his place, Duelist, one of the channel members, very cool dude. He's gonna be fighting in Spain in the Glass, also known as David, one of the old timers, the one from the. Hopefully, I remember to add this, but the Irrational Act Out finale from the Jester on my. No, or rather, my Act Out finale on the Abomination Corpse. That was quite a funny one. Stormy has already won twice. Maybe they'll be moving forward. I'm pretty sure J-Man is doing well. Yeah, he's already won 2 best of 3, so. Oh, he'll have to fight Silac. Oh god, if he moves forward, and he has to fight either Kyokit or Ying, and they're both really good. Well, he's kind of screwed. He's kind of screwed, but we'll see how that goes. The losers bracket is a mess, as it always is. Kind of messy. Let's just not look at it for too long, and just hopefully, like, you know, keep trying to get back into the winner's side. It's gonna take forever, but you know, one step at a time, right? One day at a time. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed today's video. Hope everyone has been well. Hope 2024 is treating you well. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you again another time. Cheers!